All right, good afternoon, everyone. Today is Wednesday, the 15th day of of January 2025, and I got a lot of stuff that I want to go over today. It seems like every Wednesday I have a lot of stuff I want to go over. I have less today than I had last week, but I still have stuff today that's new, that's kind of building on stuff that we had last week, and these meetings always seem to work like that. But before I get too far into it, I want to show you this right here. This is something that one of our guys who's out there in the audience right now, this happened to him today, and it's not just me that's having these great results, right? It's not just me. A lot of people are having great results. Look, I'll show you another one, if you don't mind. I'll show you another one right here. Here's another one. And that just came in a minute ago. So it's not just me that's having great results with what we're doing. Okay. And the Apex stuff, the Apex and the Top Step, and all you guys that are using prop firms, this stuff is awesome for that. This is great for that kind of thing. All right. So let me get into what I need to get into. All right. First, I guess I got to show you this stuff. Yeah, not that. Let me bring that back up and shut it off. Okay, so it doesn't keep popping up on me. That's my morning thing. First, I got to tell you, if you haven't taken a free trial, go here to tv-trades.com, tvtrades.com, sign up for the trial. Click on any one of these these orange buttons, and it'll go all the way down to the bottom and sign you up. You can do it here also at targetviewtrades.com. Take the free 3-day trial now. They all say the same thing. That is how you get the trial. If you're going to do the trial, you can do it with no charts if you want to. You get to look at the Telegram channels if you want to. You can go to the Telegram channels, or you can go to the trade table. Either one to get current trades. I should have refreshed the page on that, but I didn't. I'll do that in a few minutes. But it automatically refreshes. I just don't have it on my desktop right now. But you can go there and see the trades with no charts at all. But if you want to get the charts on your desktop, so you're not relying on these automated signals to come out for these markets, and you want to trade something different than that on a different time frame or something like that, then you're going to have to get charts. Now, the charts are trading view charts, right? They're all trading view charts. This is a trading view chart. If you don't have trading view charts, you can go to Target View Trades, go to Getting Charts right here. All right, click on that. When you click this thing right here, it's going to bring you to this page. If you click the monthly and you get the essential, that's really all you need. With the essential, you're going to have 20 alerts, right? And a lot of our stuff works on alerts. You get alerts sent to your phone, you get alerts sent to your desktop, you get alerts sent to your speakers. However you want to do it. I created alerts for a lot of things, so you know ahead of time before a trade is coming up. So it's important that you have the ability to get the alerts. All right, the free version I don't think you can, but the $14.95 version you can. If you're trading futures, you're going to want to get real-time data. The real-time data costs $7 a month for the markets that I trade. Pretty much all the markets. Real-time data costs $7 a month for futures markets. All right, you don't have to pay for real-time data for the stocks. I don't pay for it, and I get real-time data for stocks. Okay, but you do have to do that for the futures. All right. Again, the free trial, you can go here to targetviewtrades.com. On the home page, you can sign up for the free trial right there. tvtrades.com, tv-trades.com, click on the purple button. Either one of those will get you to the trial. All right. I don't want to spend too much time on that because I got a lot of stuff I got to go over. Let's see. When will the webinar be started? The webinar is starting right now. This is the webinar right now. All right. So, stuff that I want to show you today. First, the stuff that I showed you last week. I showed you all these bar colors down here, and not the bar colors, the changes down here. And when it changes, you can take action. All right. And I think I said at the time, and I said in an email that I sent out to you guys, that risk management is key to this. Now, you're going to get a whole bunch of signals with this. It's really aggressive, and you get a whole bunch of signals, signal after signal, going in opposite directions, one after the other, and that's good, and that works for me. I mean, I had, today, I was up $31,110. This is $3,110 per contract. That's what I was in the room this morning. So I was up $31,000 today. That's the best day I've had in a very long time. And that's doing basically this stuff. Okay? But I know I trade a lot differently than a lot of other people trade. A lot of other people want to be able to trade like me, but they don't know the system like I do. They don't trust the system like I do. They don't know the system like I do. So I made a conservative approach for you. All right? Now, this is the TV Trades range trade. I'm gonna shut it off. There's a new one out there for all of you guys. I just put it out a half hour ago. There's a new one out there. When you click on TV Trades range trigger right now, it comes up like this. Okay, you see there's no bar color changes, just regular up and down bars, and there's no color changes in the trigger. Okay, if you come in here on the trigger, by default it has conservative bars checked. All right, that is a new thing for you. If you hover over that, it says selecting this option will produce fewer trades more aligned with the overall trend. All right, that's the idea with that. Now, it's checked by default, but it doesn't mean anything until you put in your password. Okay, you got to put in your password. And the password right now, I'll tell you, I'm going to change it. I am going to change it. I haven't changed it yet, but it's L06377P. That is a 0, not an O. L06377P. The P is lowercase, the L is uppercase. Now, that is going to change things a little bit. Once I click off of here, you'll see there'll probably be some colors showing up in different places and stuff. You see? There's colors. And that's much more conservative than it was a few minutes ago, right? When it had the different colors all over the place without the conservative bars on. You see? You have reds and blues right after each other. I mean, reds and greens right after each other. Now when you put the conservative ones on, you don't have that because it's sticking with the trend. Okay? So there's a few things that it is being recorded. Yes. There's a few things that come to light with this, right? Okay, one is the fact that you guys probably don't know the way that I manage risk. And what that means is when I move my stops, how big my stops are, when I move my stops, at what point I move my stop to break even, all that kind of stuff. That I will show you here in just a moment. Here, I will show you here, and you can. This was emailed out to you the other day, but I'll get it right here for you again. Okay, so you can take a screenshot of it, and it'll be in the video also. Now, you see there are no symbols associated with this, right? It's just range bar sizes: a 50, a 31, a 19, a 15, 11, 9, 7, 4. Okay, there are no symbols associated with those. It's just a range bar size, and that's because when using range bars, it's all about price action. It doesn't matter what market it's on. That's why I use range bars. All right, I know ahead of time using range bars. I know ahead of time. I know ahead of time what my stop's going to be, no matter what market it is. If I'm going to use a 50 range bar, I know I'm going to use a 60 stop. All right. Now, if I do that on the ES, I might only have 2 or 3 trades a day, but I know I'm going to have a 60 stop on that thing. And I do it on the NQ, I'll probably have 50 trades a day. Okay, I mean, today on the NQ, we didn't have too many on the, we actually had a whole bunch on the ES. But we traded the ES on the 7 range, but I had 23 trades on the ES today. Any volume? Gordon, what do you mean volume? Can you not hear me? Am I not loud enough? Is that what you mean by volume? Or are you talking about any volume charts? Please let me know what you mean by that. Okay. Wayne says I'm loud enough. Okay. All right. Good. All right. So, I don't use volume charts. If that's your question, I do not use volume charts. All right. They don't really even have volume charts with TradingView. They did introduce volume charts, but they're not volume the way that you would normally think they are. You know, when I look at volume, like on, let me show you on this right here. All right, let me. There we go. When I look at volume on this, right? If I look at this like a 100 contract chart, every bar is 100 contracts. All right, when this counts down to 0, it goes to the next bar. Every bar is 100 contracts. That's the way people typically look at a volume chart. Hang on, Latoya. Let me get to your question in a second. Okay. Right here with these are contract charts, right? Volume charts. So every bar has 100 contracts in it. So you don't know how big the bar is going to be. You know, it can be big, it can be small, it can open at the top, close at the top. It can open anywhere and close anywhere. I don't use those, and I don't recommend you do either. There's a huge disadvantage to these. These and regular tick bars. It was something that somebody asked me about the tick bars last week too. The tick bars, like the 250 tick, these are transaction bars. You know, if you look in here, these are different types of bars, right? There are time-based bars, your minute bars, and all that stuff. The tick bar, that's the transaction. That means every bar has 250 transactions, if I said it there. Volume-based, I think that's what you were asking, Gordon. If you set this to a volume, it's going to be like I just had it a minute ago, 200 contracts or 110 contracts per bar. You can do that too. The range bar is what I use, and this might answer your question, Latoya. The range bar is what I use because the range bar, you know ahead of time how big every bar is going to be. So you can be proactive with the bar. You know ahead of time where the bar is going to close. You know every bar, that it's got to close either at the top or the bottom to get to the next bar. So it requires price action to get to the next bar. It's not just some countdown that gets to the next bar. It requires price action. That's why the range bars are awesome, and I use them for everything. Everything. Right? Now. Okay. Okay, so back here. These are the different types of range bars that I typically use. All right, I have a 50 that I use every day on the NQ. I was using a 31 on the NQ for the last year or so, but there were too many opportunities and there are too many trades on a 31, so I bumped it up to a 50. And there's fewer trades, and the trades are, they're great. And with a 75 tick target, I still often hit my 75 tick target on the NQ. Today I had 12 trades on the NQ today, and out of those 12 trades, I think probably a quarter of them hit the 75 tick target. Okay, and I was up 437 ticks per contract on the NQ today. These are range bars, all right? I suggest you use range bars, and this is risk management. Every trade, before you put a trade on, you should know what your stop is going to be on that trade. You should know how much risk you're going to have on that trade, and you should know how you're going to manage that risk. All right. Every time you place a trade, you should know that ahead of time. If you don't know that ahead of time, you're at a huge disadvantage, and it's going to be really hard for you to build confidence in anything that you're doing if you don't know that if you don't have that information ahead of time. Okay, that is why I use range bars, because I know that ahead of time. What you should put on the range for the YM. On the YM, you could use a 20, a 19, or a 20 range mode. And if you were doing that, I have on another ID, I have a YM chart up that I run all the time. But you could use a 20 range on the YM. It's got enough liquidity and volatility in it that you could use that. And also, I want to say this. When I'm talking about things in here, I'm not talking about trading the micros. But any of these things can be done on the micros. All right, the same stuff can be done on a micro. So, if you don't want to risk, like on a 50 tick, on a 50 range bar, 50 tick range bar, I'm risking 60 ticks. That's $300 with one contract. Right? Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I have some videos I can send to you in YouTube if you want. Okay, training on the range bars. Why I use range bars and why range bars are great. Yes, there is stuff on that. Send me an email. Right? Send an email to support@targetviewtrades.com, and I'll reply to you with some stuff that I made on YouTube. Okay. All right. So the reason I want to do the conservative thing is because I don't think people were applying risk management consistently or well, or really had a risk management plan ahead of time. Okay, because I know when you have a whole bunch of trades and they're going in both directions, one right after the other, it is difficult. It is a challenge to keep up with everything that's going on any given day anyway. Especially if you're new to this, it's a challenge to keep up with what's going on. But by me throwing that out there to you guys, it was probably too much information all at once, and I think it was probably overwhelming. So what I did is I created this thing, right? The conservative bars. And if you put it on like this, let me just shut this off. Now you all are going to get the same thing right now. If you refresh there'll be a little purple circle after your trading view TV trades trigger down there. There'll be a little purple circle to update it for all of you, because this is new. I just put this out here today. But when you first throw it on, it looks like this. This is what the default one looks like, right? And if you come in here, it's on this one, you go to inputs like this. Conservatives bar is checked, but it doesn't do anything until you put the password in. Okay, and on this side you have bar color, and that actually I'm gonna have to fix that, because that shouldn't do anything either until you that shouldn't do anything either until you put in the password. But you can see right now it turns everything blue. That's because it's not giving you the logic behind the colors. But yes, so that's what it looks like when you just put it on, right? Then you throw the password in there. Okay, and now you're going to see it knows the logic now to color the bars, right? And if I uncheck that, and I put that on, then you see you have these bars right here that go from, these colors down here go from red to green, and red to green, and green to red, like that. And you have the bar colors right after the other, like that. It's not really looking at the trend. Now, in here, the risk management for this, you stop would be 60 ticks, right? You'd be selling the open of the next bar. So you're selling this right here, your stop's going to be up here, and it worked out. But a lot of people aren't really getting that. And if they don't have a risk management strategy, if they're selling the open of the next bar with a 30 tick stop, well, then you're going to stop out right here. All right? Your stop needs to be up here. Okay? And so it's important that you understand all those things. And if you are a winning trade and you get a signal in the opposite direction, you reverse your position to hold the winner. That happened to me today, Gary. It was hard for me to hold on to it. Now, my rule of thumb has always been just hold on to the thing, but you can reverse it and go in the opposite direction. If you're in a losing position in one, and you get a signal to go in the opposite direction, I mean, you can reverse it and go in the opposite direction. That would have worked out for me today if I'd have done that. But I stuck with my original trade, and it stopped me out on the original trade, and then I missed the follow-up trade. The question was, if you're in a winning trade and you get a signal in the other direction, do you reverse it, or do you just wait it out? Now, in the past, I would say, you took the trade, you accepted the risk, you just stick with the trade. But the reason you're exiting the trade isn't because you've changed your mind on whether the trade was a valid trade. It's because the signal actually changed. So that kind of flies in the face of, accepting the risk. You did accept the risk, and you're just following the rules for the trades if you reverse it at that point and go in the opposite direction. There was one point during that trade where I would have gotten a break even on the trade that I was in, and then could have reversed at that break even point and gotten a bunch of profit on the other one. I don't know what just happened there. Okay. So what I wanted to show you guys right here, I was showing you, the bar colors, they change back and forth and back and forth. That's the non-conservative way. If you go with the conservative way, then it's going to look more at the trend. Okay, and they're not going to change back and forth so much. And by default, you got to make sure the bar color is checked in here. Okay. And the snipe colors down here, if you want to change the value of the snipe, if you want to change anything about that, like in the morning when I run it, I run the snipe at 100%, but I run it thick like that. Okay. If you want to run it thick, when you have the bar colors, like if you want to make it thick when you have a sell indication, and make it thick when you have a buy indication, so you can see it better down there. If you can't see it so well up there on the chart, you can see it well down here. You can do that down there too. Okay. Did you see how I did that? Now, all of that relies on the trigger. If you undo this conservative thing right here, then you can see there's a lot more color down here, and there's a lot more color up here in the bars. Now, this is on a 50 range NQ. If you put that down on a 7 range ES, then it's a much more significant change. All right. So basically, what I did is I made this so you can use conservative bars right here. You can do it on this. You can do it on anything. It doesn't just have to be futures. There was one I can't remember the name of it. The symbol was a 3x ES, I think, or 3x something. But I mean, you can go like the QQQ, which is similar, but the QQQ is just this. And on the QQQ, obviously, you're not going to do that on a 50 range. It's on the QQQ, a 50 range is each bar is 50 cents. All right, but you do that on something much bigger because the QQQ is, you know, a much bigger price. So each bar right here is $2.50. And so you'll be doing the same thing. You'll be selling when you get to the, you'll be selling the open of that bar, you'll be selling the open of that bar, you'll be selling the open of that bar, you'll be buying the open of that bar, selling the open of that bar, buying the open of that. And I mean, it doesn't, on the QQQ with a smaller time frame like this, it doesn't make that much sense. But one of the things that I had mentioned and was in the description of the webinar itself was options. Okay, and the options, well, that was really going to be for the swing trade stuff, and I didn't get to finish the swing trade stuff because I wanted to get this stuff. I want to get this done for you guys so that you could, I mean, a lot of you guys, most of you guys are futures traders more than equity traders. So I want to make sure I got this done for you futures traders, guys. So you would be able to work better with what you've been given as far as the trading goes. You know, some of you guys are doing really well with it, and some of you guys are struggling with it. So I wanted to show you this right away. I wanted to make sure I got this out for you guys so it can improve your trading. Now, I just said a whole bunch of things. Let me go back and say it again. All right, slowly though. What I plan to show you today is 3 different trade setups, right? 3 different ways to trade using the stuff that we have. And you can do it with any type of thing you want. You can do it with the QQQ. I don't know how I ended up on any one, but you can do it with the QQQ. Oh, it's Russian. That's why. It's because it's on futures. Okay, you can do it with the QQQ. It even works on Russian stuff. You do it with the QQQ. This is what I was trying to do. And I was wondering why that was 20,000. It's 520. Okay, well, the same thing here is $2.50. I guess that was 250 rubles or something like that. But it's the same thing here. You know, what the red means, using this setup, what the red means is you sell the open of the next bar. You sell the open of the next bar. What the green means is you buy the open of the next bar. Okay. Now, this is just one of 3 setups that I want to show to you. Okay, let's go back to the NQ. I'll go back to my happy place. All right. So it's just one of the trade setups that I wanted to show you. All right. If I shut that off, this is what the chart looks like when you turn it on. The bars are red when it closes below the open. They're blue when it closes above the open. This is what your blank NQ 50 range chart looks like. Now, Latoya. What a 50 range means is every bar is 50 ticks high. Every single bar is 50 ticks high. To go from one bar to the next bar, it has to exceed the top of the bar or the bottom of the bar. That's the way range bars work. So if you know where the top is, you know exactly where the bottom is going to be. If you know where the bottom is, you know exactly where the top is going to be. So you know ahead of time. On this bar right here, I know the bottom is going to be 50 ticks away from the top. Okay? And now the top is going to be 50 ticks away from the bottom. All right? Now, usually with the NQ, I do things that are multiples of 4 minus 1. Like, you know, when I did a 31 range, I did a 31 range bar like that. Is because then I can say, all right, the top of the bar is going to be 8 points from the bottom is where I want to have my buy stop order. Or the bottom is going to be 8 points from the top is where I want to have my sell stop order. Okay? That's how I would usually do it. You can do it in multiples of 4, and then you can just do it by points. All right? Now, 50 is not a multiple of 4. You know, 52 is a multiple of 4. So if I had a 52 range, then I could say, all right, well, you know, 13 points from the bottom is where the top of the bar is going to be. Or 13 points from the top is where the bottom is going to be with the NQ because it's 4 ticks per point. Okay, but that's how range bars work. All right, and that's, I mean, the range bars have so much value to them. They're so much better than any other kind of bar. Any other kind of bar. You know, quickly, I can just tell you The other types, the ones that count down to 0, all you know about those bars is where they open and when they're going to get to 0, it's going to go to another bar. You don't know anything else about that bar. The minute-based bars, they're just like those other bars, except now you know when it's going to get to the next bar. You have no idea where it's going to close. Being at the top or bottom of the bar is meaningless with those, because it's just a matter of time. It doesn't show there's any momentum in the trade or anything like that. If it closes at the top, it could be sitting at the top for 5 minutes. On a 10-minute bar, it could be sitting at the top for 5 minutes before it closes and goes to the next bar. The next bar could sit there for 5 minutes before it moves at all. So it doesn't have any value at all, really. It's just got time base. Right? In here, to get to the next bar, you have to have price movement. You can't get to the next bar without price movement. That's why range bars, if you work with price action, and that's what all indicators work with, is price action. All indicators work with price action. If you're working with indicators that work with price action, then you should be using range bars. Okay? Do I trade every single? Oh gosh, no. There are so many signals, Gary. I do not trade every single. I trade a lot of them. Like today I took 45 trades this morning. I think it was 45. Yeah, 45 trades this morning, and I didn't get near all the signals. If I were to go to that chart and show you all the ones that I missed, in the first 15 minutes I probably, because I trade 4 markets, in the first 15 minutes I probably missed 20 signals. But I did get my goal for the day on the very first one. I was at $1,500 in less than a minute this morning. But it's, this stuff is not hard to do. All right, so going back to my slow approach to the trade setups. This is a 50 range NQ. If you just come in here and you put your TV trades range trigger on, there it is. This is what it looks like by default. Now this by default is fine. All right. If you have the TV trades on, you see I have the TV trades, the red and blue background here is this. Let me just get rid of the TV trades too. All right. This is what a blank chart looks like. And then if you just throw your TV trades trigger down at the bottom and up here, throw on TV trades, and when it comes on, I'll show you. It's going to have the longs by default, right? The long arrows by default, and you can leave those on if you want to. But if you just want to have the colors, you just got to shut those off, and you click settings right here and uncheck that box, okay? And then you just have the colors in the background. Now the colors identify the trend for this time frame, okay? Yeah, I don't really skip them, I just miss them, Gary. And I want to get into that a little bit if I have time. Okay, I'll get into that a little bit if I have time. But so with this right here, you have the background is blue. So anytime you come out of the oversold, you can pretty much buy. Anytime you come out of the oversold, you can pretty much buy. And the fella that $1,000 that was up there at the beginning of the session, that's primarily what he did today, right? Mark, that's primarily what you did today, right? When it comes out of the oversold, if the background is blue, you buy. Comes out of the oversold, the background is blue, you buy. Comes out of the oversold, the background is blue, you buy. Comes out of the oversold, the background is blue, you buy. And look, right here, in this little bit right here, from here to here, in this little bit, if you had a 75 tick target on that, that's thousands of bucks right there. Every one of those. It's thousands of bucks. You're up like 12 grand right there. Well, if you have a whole bunch of contracts on like me. But if you don't have a whole bunch of contracts on like me, you're still up over $1 grand. Every one of those is like $300, $400. And that's that's this afternoon. Like a 20-minute span here, a half an hour span this afternoon. Even right now while we're talking, and up close on this bar right now, he would be going long. And I'll put it on if I can find my DOM. Buried back here somewhere. I'm almost down to it. Here it is. So I'll put this trade on if it comes out of the oversold right here, I'll put this trade on. Okay, and that's all you're looking for. You're looking for it to come out of the oversold. Now, this is probably important because another reason we use range bars, right? I know the bottom of the bar is right here, right? 31.75. So I know 12 points above that. It's going to be 43, 44 up here somewhere is where I'm going to be buying. Okay, it's going to be up here somewhere, 43, 44. So we can wait until price gets up there. And when it gets up there, the way that I put my order on, because sometimes it happens really fast, and in the morning, especially when I'm trading a whole bunch of markets, the way that I do it, like a lot of you guys in here have seen me trading in the morning. A lot of you guys have not. But the way that I do it is in this case, I would just hover over the green right here, and I left click. And if I left click right here on the bid, it puts me in at the current bid. All right, the current bid. And if I do it over here on the ask, it puts me in at the current ask. Now, right there, see, I'm going to go long right there, and I'm in. That's a long trade right there. I just came out of the overbought, out of the oversold, and this is a long trade. Now, my stop is 60 ticks away. After this gets up to right here, 20 ticks, I'm going to bump my stop to break even. All right, there it is. I'm going to bump my stop to break even. Okay, so now I don't have any risk in this trade. And right there, 20 ticks. That was $1,000 for me right there. It was right there. It was 20 ticks. But you see, the money that, those emails that you see going out, those are real things, and real things and real money, and this is real things and real money right now. And that was just $1,000 that I had on the table right there a second ago. Now, I expect this is going to get up here to the prior swing high, and this is one of the things that I was going to get into with you, Gary. I expect this is going to get up here to the prior swing high, and that is well beyond my 75 tick target. Now, my 75 tick target is, well, it's up here. Above the high of the day, it's at 58. I guess it's not above it. And it's probably going to take me out of break even here, but 58 is my 75 tick target. All right, and this is the high of the day right here. So this time of the day, it should actually go up there and hit that for me right now. It should actually go all the way up there and hit that for me. But I'm going to start locking in a little bit of profit once it gets up here a little bit closer to the prior swing high, because it should find resistance there up in the 52 area. Okay, I'm just going to lock in 1 point right here, and we'll let it play. All right, that is the trade setup. That's all you have to do right there. That's all you have to do. I mean, it's not that hard. This stuff is not complicated. For those of you guys that are, I've had some guys that say, I just can't do it. They're saying, I just stopped out 3 times in a row. What are you doing? I believe you stopped out 3 times in a row, but is it because your stops are off? Is it because, there are times where you will have 3 stop outs in a row. I don't think it was today, but yesterday that happened to me. Here, I'll leave this over here on the side. I keep moving it off because I'm trying to show you stuff over here. But, what I anticipate here is that this is going to get up to this level right here and then find some resistance at 53. Okay, so I could put a target up there at 53. Look, here's one of our things right there. I could put a target up there at 53. I could lock in $1,000 worth right now. Okay, I'm going to lock in a little bit more right now, actually. That's what, 3 points? Okay, so it's 3 points. That's $600 for me. It's $200 a point for me. This is what I do every day. So those emails that you get that say, I was up, whatever. So far this week, I'm up over 50 grand. That's real money. And there, that was $600 right there, just like that. Yeah, I am on a 31 range. Thank you for reminding me of that. But normally on that, normally I would not have a 60 tick stop on the 31 range, but you see it didn't go into our stop at all. It didn't go into our risk at all. It went like a point maybe into our risk. But anyway, that's all you have to do. And that's one of the trade setups, okay? One of the trade setups. If the background's right and it pops out of the overbought, you just go. I'm sorry. If the background's blue and it pops out of the oversold, you go long. If the background's red and it pops out of the overbought, right here, you go short. Okay, it's as simple as that. And this is a 31 range, it's not a 50 range. Normally on a 31 range, my stop would be 48 ticks, right? It wouldn't be 60, it'd be 48 ticks. But it says that. Alright, so let me finish telling you what I'm doing, then I'll go through the questions, okay? That was recommended to me the last time. Somebody was kind enough to say, hey, you know what, you got good information, but it's a lot of information, and if you keep going back and forth with the questions, nobody's going to get all the information that you're trying to get, and some people will get some of it, and nobody will get all of it. So let me just do the rest of it, okay? That is one of the trade setups right there. Simple, right? Easy. And that's just putting this on and the TV trades on. The TV trades with no other arrows or anything like that. You can put the arrows on if you want on the TV trades, but you don't need to, all right? My thought is don't put anything on that's going to distract you. Right, you see how this did not put in a higher swing right here? That's kind of a significant event that it didn't put in that higher swing. But you see right here how it did go from the overbought to the oversold. That's also a significant event. And that's built into the next part. Wondering which one I should go to next, but I think I'm going to go to this one, all right? So that's one trade setup, right? Everybody have that trade setup down? No. Oh, I'm sorry, you're right, Mark. The stop is 36 ticks on the 31 range, and the target is 48 ticks. I got it backwards. The stop is 36 ticks on the 31 range, and the target is 48 ticks. Thank you for straightening that out. And it's in that thing that I showed you, wherever that is. This one. For a 31 range, the stop is 36 ticks, and target's 48. I said it backwards. Sorry, but it's in there, in writing, black and white, right there. Literally, black and white, right there. Thank you for pointing that out. Oscillator red and green settings. Okay, that was one of the questions. This is just putting it on, right? I didn't change a thing. This is just putting it on. I didn't change a thing down here. And I put the TV trades on, and I just took off the one arrow that was highlighted. Okay. So, if you want to get to the other stuff, then you got to change something in it. Okay. So just shut off TV trades for right now. So it's just plain black like that. I'm plain blank like this. You come in here and you go in here, and now the bar color, I gotta fix this because it shouldn't actually change it to blue on you when you click it. But the bar color is off by default, and these are on by default, but these don't work until you put in a password. Alright, and right now, by default, these are set to 85 and minus 85. Alright, these down here, 85 and minus 85. Okay, now when you put in the password, then everything changes. Alright, you guys remember what the cover is about? Remember the cover? It shows this down here. So you just see the blue coming out of the overbought and oversold. If you have the other things going in there, I'll get to that in a minute, okay? But that's what the cover is about, right? That's why these numbers over here on the cover, they're for 65 and minus 65, because you want to be able to see the edge. Okay, that's what the cover is about. Now, the next trade setup. If we put in the password, we don't change anything else, right? Everything is as it is by default. Here, I'll just delete it again, and I'll put it in. And we'll go in here, and we'll go to TV Trades Range Trigger, and this is the default. Alright, and now, you see it doesn't have any range bars on, it doesn't have any colors down here. And if you come in here, and you leave everything alone in here, don't change a thing. Come in here to inputs, and just put in your password. Okay, just put in the password. This password is the same one for the trade table page. I disabled the password for the trade table page temporarily because there was a problem with it loading up properly. It wasn't consistently loading for everyone. Okay. Now everybody that's asking me questions, I'm going to get to all your questions after. I just want to get through all these things right here because it's 3:40 and I only have 20 minutes left. So you put in the password, right? And then watch. I'm going to go to the Style tab. You'll see everything changes back here anyway, but then when you go to the Style tab, these are now 90. They're not 85. Alright? And now the bar color is checked. Alright? Because it actually puts the bar colors in. These are now active. You can turn them on. Okay? But the trade setup that I want to show you right now is with the conservative bars right now. Alright? If you get a green bar, buy the open of the next bar. You get a green bar, you buy the open of the next bar. Now this is a 31 NQ, so you stop on this one. We'll go back to the thing with a 31 NQ, 31 range. The stop is a 36 tick stop that trails to break even after 48 ticks in profit. So you have a 36 tick stop that trails to break even. What did that say? It trails to break even. No, you're looking for 48 ticks in profit. It doesn't trail to break even after 48 ticks in profit. It trails to break even 31 after 16 ticks in profit. 4 points in profit is when you bump that stop to break even. Okay, so you would enter here on the open of this bar. You would enter there. Trail to stop to break even after you get 4 points in it. Trail it to break even, and then just look for 48 ticks. All right, and that's what I would look for in here. I would take profit. This only went up about 31 ticks or 30 ticks. I would take profit on that. The same thing over here. Green bar here, same thing, right? Over and over and over again. Now the red bars go the opposite direction, right? You get a red bar and you sell the open of the next bar, right? You sell the open of the next bar. Now this one right here looks like it probably would have stopped you out to the tick. Because if you sold right here at 77.75, let's say you didn't get filled at 77.75. Let's say you got filled at 77, right? And so your stop is going to be 9 points away. And it ran all the way up to 87.50. So it was 10.5 points. It would have stopped you out pretty much to the tick there and then went down. But that's basically what you're going to do. You're going to sell the open of the next bar, right? Sell the open of the next bar and look to take profit on it. All right. That's what this setup is, and that's pretty conservative, right? Now, if you uncheck the conservative bars, it's the same stuff. It's just you're gonna have a lot more of them popping up. Right? You're gonna have a lot more of them popping up, and they're probably not as high probability because they're not necessarily going with the trend, but you're gonna have a lot more of them. Okay. Now, you're going through here, and this is where you might have 2 or 3 stop outs in a row. Now, one of the things I want to show you with this, if you get into a trade, if you get into one of these trades, like let's say you get in, like this right here is a good example. I'm looking for, well, here's one right here, I guess. I don't know. If you get into one of these trades, like let's say you get into this trade right here, right? And it pulls way back, and then it does go down, and it gets all the way down here into the oversold. Whenever you get into a trade, this line down here should go all the way to the other side. Now you'll need to think about this when you have the conservative bars unchecked. All right. What should happen is when you get into a trade, you get short here. This should go all the way down to the other side before you take another trade. All right, before you take another trade in that direction, it should go all the way to the other side before you take another trade in that direction, because that's going to keep you out of some of the times where it gets going up like this. You know, where you might have taken a trade that didn't go all the way, just gave you a little bit, you got to break even, and then it gives you another one right after, but the trend is actually changing on you. The idea is to keep you out of that. Now, I built that in to the conservative bars, so you don't have to think about that. It does that. It does that calculation for you. It won't show you a green bar unless it's done that. All right. But if you have the more aggressive bars on there, then that is something you have to consider. You know, when you take a trade, it should go from the overbought all the way to the oversold before you take another trade. It should go from the overbought all the way to the oversold, especially if you're going to take another trade in the same direction. Okay? I just want to point that out. That is one thing. Now, those are 2 of the different trade setups, right? If you're using the colors, I showed you how to do it 2 different ways with the colors. If you're using the TV trades, I showed you how to do it with the TV trades. Now, you can do it like this if you want to. You can keep all the colors on there if you want to, if that gives you any kind of comfort. But if it's going to screw you up, then just take the colors off, right? Just go in and undo the password, right? Just undo the password like that. And then, you know, the bars, you got to set the bars back to 85, but I guess they set back to 85 automatically. Okay. Just undo the password, and then you'll be just doing this, the blues coming out of the overboughts, coming out of the oversolds with the blues and the reds. All right. And so the final trade setup, and this is the one that I do for the most part in the morning. The final trade setup that I want to show you is this one. All right. If we get back in here, you got to put the password back in for this. You got to have the password for this one because that makes these enabled. Now, these are the settings that you have to change, Gary. For this one, you got to turn on the div line and the div area. Shut off the snipe. You can shut off the bar colors. And in here, these need to go to 65. All right. I should have made that automatic. Maybe I will in the next iteration. Make it automatic. But those go to 65. Okay. And in here, and this is primarily what I'm doing in the morning when I'm trading in the morning. I'm looking for divergence between these right here. All right. I'm looking for, well, in the morning, it's a little bit different in the morning, but I'm looking for divergence between here. Like if this comes up here, and you can get rid of the TV trades because you don't need the colors in the background. If this hits the overbought, and that's not in the overbought, I'm going to sell the open of the next bar. If it hits the oversold, and that's not in the oversold, I'm going to buy the open of the next bar. Sell the open of the next bar. Buy the open of the next bar. Sell the open of the next bar. Buy buy the open of the next bar, sell the open of the next bar, sell the open, buy the open, buy the open, buy the open. Okay, that's what I do in the morning session. Okay. So you can do it however you want. If you want to use a different thing than the div line that I have there, if you want it to be just like the morning session, for those of you guys that follow me in the morning, if you want to have it just like the morning session, use the snipe line. Okay, I'm sorry, you put the div area back, but use the snipe line like that. Alright, the div line, it smooths these out, so you don't get as many of these flat spots. And I am working on something that's going to make that better for you too, for all of you. Okay. But that's, that's all you need. I mean, there are 3 different ways right there to trade this. Now, you can pick one that's easiest for you, one that works best for you. You can go to the colors if you want to stick with the colors. I thought that was going to be easier and better, but what's easier and better for me isn't necessarily obviously what's easier and better for everyone else. But with this, you're selling, when it goes into the overbought like this, you're selling the open of the next bar right there, selling the open of the next bar. And when it goes into the oversold like this, you're buying the open of the next bar like that. Right? And this is on a 31 range. Now in the morning, I've been doing it on a 50 range. It's the same stuff. Goes into the oversold, you're buying the open of the next bar. Okay, it goes into the oversold, you're buying the open of the next bar. Goes into the overbought right here, you're selling the open of the next bar. Now usually when it does this, you're going to have like a little extra right here where you might be able to get a better entry than the open, but you should at least be able to get the open. All right, and that's why I showed you in here when I put the trades on. If I were going to buy the open of the next bar on the close, I would just pay attention to where the actual close is. Well, not the close, but where the open is. And usually I'm going to have a chance to get a better position than the actual open. The open on this one was 60.25 and it dropped down to 57.25. So it dropped down 12 ticks. 12 ticks before it came back up. So there were 12 opportunities there. 12 tick opportunities there for me to get a better entry. Okay. I know I told you I was going to do the swing trade thing. Let me show you what the swing trade thing is going to look like. Okay, when it's ready, this is what the swing trade thing is going to look like. You'll have access to this TV Trades Swing Trades channel, and you can see I did all this December 23rd. I was working on this, and I did all this, and this involves different time frames and stuff. It's got to go back and forth between different time frames, so it's taken me a little longer to get it done. And this is going to be for all things, but it's going to be much larger time frames. So you'll be able to trade options with this. I know the title of today's things was Swing Trades and Options. That was the intent. Was I was going to talk about this and show you how you could use these swing trades to trade different types of options. Okay, I'll have to put that off for at least another week. Hopefully I'll get to it next week. Hopefully. But I want to get these changes in here and show you guys, because I know you guys, some of you guys that signed up since last week started using this, and I think I ran out of time last week. I don't think I gave you a good enough explanation about how to use it and what to expect and all that. So I wanted to do some clarification. I want to do some clarification on that today. Alright, so I showed you 3 different trade setups, right? There's this one right here that I showed you. There's this one right here with the bar colors that I showed you. And there's this one right here. Alright, you can trade any one of those that you want. The simplest one is probably this right here. This is probably the simplest one to do. Alright, and it works great. It does, it works great. Now, if greed kills with this, you have to have a number that you're happy with, that you can get every day. You have to set a goal for yourself. Something that you can do every single day, that you can be happy with every day. And if you do that and you stop trading when you get there, then you'll find you'll be much happier in pretty much everything, because you'll be getting your goal every day. It's like going to work and getting a paycheck every day. And David, are you in here? David, not that David. He was in here, but that David's not in here. But what was my thing that I was going to show you? Hang on. Let me show you this. Okay. This is, think it doesn't have his name in here anywhere, so I guess I can show this. Okay. These are his results doing this stuff. Daily results doing this stuff. Okay. He sends me his results every day. So it's not just me. I'm not the only one making money doing this. You know, it's out there to be made, and I'm giving you guys an opportunity that, you know, you can take advantage of if you want to. It is definitely here in front of you. You know, if you're on the trial and you sent me an email saying you want to cancel the trial because you just can't make it work, and the only thing that you were looking at was the colors, you know, if the only thing you were looking at were the colors and you couldn't make that work, I get that. You know, there are times in there with the colors where you might have stopped out 3 times in a row, right? But you're not seeing the whole picture. Okay. Okay. Let me go back. I'm going to go back. I want to answer all the questions. So I'm going to go back all the way down to when we place the order. When you place the order after TV trades range trigger reaches 100 of the mind. When do you place the order? That was the question, I think. When do you place the order? Well, if you're doing this one, you place the order when it comes out of the overbought or comes out of the oversold. Okay? When you're doing this one. The other ones, you're placing the order when it goes into the overbought or into the oversold. That's when you're placing the order. Okay, so on one of them, you're buying on the close of the bar. On this one, right here, where you're not using the colors down here. Oops. We're not using the colors down here. You're buying on the close of the bar. When it comes out of the overbought or comes out of the oversold with the background color. You're buying on the close of the bar. Alright? So it's when it comes out of the overbought or comes out of the oversold in this one. The other ones you're buying when it goes into the overbought or into the oversold. Alright? On the others, you're buying on the open of the next bar. Okay? I want to make sure I got that question answered. Do I have a trade room in the morning? I do, but it's a different business. Discard. Yes, there's just a ton of opportunity here. A ton of opportunity for you guys. All right. Hang on. The questions are coming in pretty quick, and I just want to make sure I get them all answered. Okay, so Gary, I'm going all the way back to 3:30, and Mahmood, I answered yours. Wayne, but it makes it easier to see when the range bars and the colors. Okay, oversold is at the top. You sell. I just explained all that. David, now that's what you would ask me in the message you would send to me, David. And I wanted to say, this is why I wanted to cover it in here, okay? Because your answer was, well, it was wrong, but I was saying, I kind of laughing because you were typing it on your phone, I think, and you might have had a typo in there, but depending which setup it is, it depends what you're going to do. You know, if you're doing the one with the background color with the TV trades background color in here, it's coming out of the overbought and out of the oversold that you're going to make the trade. The other ones, it's when it's going into the overbought or into the oversold that you're going to make the trade. Okay? That is why I wanted to make sure I answered that one for you, David, because I told you specifically that I was going to answer that today. And Latoya, how do I manage drawdowns and valuations and things like Apex? Something just said immediate action required on StoneX account. I'll have to read that again later. How to manage drawdowns on evaluations accounts with Apex. You know what, let me go in here and make sure that I don't have any trades left on. Check that really quick everywhere. What time is it? It's 3:55. Okay. Working orders, 0, completed, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I don't have any working orders. That's what I want to see. Make sure that message wasn't anything that I need to be concerned with. I don't have any working orders. Okay, how do I manage drawdowns on evaluation accounts with Apex? I don't have an account with Apex. But I think with Apex, you know, if you use a smaller time frame, Latoya, I think if you use a smaller time frame, your drawdowns will be smaller on each individual stop out. So you won't have to worry about that so much. Okay, you know, if you're using a 50 tick stop and the drawdown, the max drawdown that you can have on your account is like $500 a day, then that's not going to work out so well. But if you use, you know, if you go to a smaller time frame and use, say, a stop that's only going to be $100 per stop out, then that will work out. I think that that would be the answer to that. Okay. Hang on, I'm working my way up on these. Thank you, Mike R, for reminding me about the 31 range. Wayne, please do it with the trigger color bars. Makes it easier. I got that out of context. Oscillator red and green settings. Oscillator red and green settings. Gary, I went over that, right? Comment for later. The last trade, I did not go over the swing high. Would I take that next long trade because of that? Okay, that was something that I did want to go over, that I did kind of cover. Now, typically in the room in the morning, Scott, every trade I take has to have a higher swing. All right, it's got to be coming off a higher swing or a lower swing. But because of the way that we're trading in here, we're not trading necessarily with the trend. We're trading counter trend as well. So that's not necessarily the case. What I do want this to do, though, all right, this more than price, because we can get, you know, on a 50 range bar, you can make a lot of money within a single bar. All right, Scott, you can make a lot of money within a single bar. So if you get into a trade here and a trade triggers, you know, you're usually going to get one bar. That bar is usually going to close up once for you, and usually you're going to be able to make plenty of money in that one bar. And if that one does not put in a higher swing or does not go from the oversold to the overbought down here, then I would not take another trade in that direction. Okay, and that's built into the conservative trades. That's built into that. All right. Swing trades for stocks have started. They're starting soon. They haven't started yet. Okay, so you see I'm up to 340 now with my questions. You can trade the NQ 50 ranged in the target 75 ticks, for example. Can you leave the order run and you wait for price to hit? Yeah, you can do that. You can do that. I did that once today. Mahmoud. You know, normally I trail my stop to break even after I get 20 ticks in profit, but I was in another trade at the same time, and I was making a bunch of money on an ES trade, and I forgot about the NQ trade that I had on. I ended up getting the 75 ticks on the NQ, and I got like 24 ticks on the ES trade that I was in. Please go over the setting in the range trigger in my last scenario. Did I do that for you enough, Wayne? All you have to do is go in here, put in your password, come in here in the style, check the div line and the div area, uncheck the snipe, and put these down to 65. Okay, you can get rid of the bar color too. Put these two at 65 and minus 65. And that will set this up. Okay. If you want to use the lines that I use in the morning, put the snipe on and leave the div area on, but take off the div line. And that'll be what I do in the morning. Okay. Alright. Gary, is there enough activity to trade this in the London session before the New York Open? Yes, there is. Got to run, but okay. Alright, great. Discard. That's good to hear. Scott said thank you. Wayne said thank you. Hang on, I think setting the range triggers. I think I answered all the questions. And look, it's 4 o'clock exactly, and I think I just answered all the questions. It's fate. Really, if you guys have any other questions, I'm happy to answer them right now. Okay. But you saw how easy it was to place the trades, and really, this is a super simple setup right here. If it's blue and you come out of the oversold, take the trade. All right. If it does not, if it comes out of the oversold and it does not make it up to the overbought, then don't look to take another trade in that direction. All right. If it starts going sideways and gets all wonky on you, then wait until it actually commits to the upside. Like this one right here, you know, wait until it actually commits to the upside before you take another trade. Okay. Do I have a trade room in the morning? Oh, yes, I do. But it's a different business. You can go to mytradingiq.com. If any of you guys want to see me trade in the morning, you know, you can sign up for the trial at mytradingiq.com. Just, I'll tell you right up front, it's $5,000. You can sign up for the trial though, and you can watch me trade if you want to. Go to mytradingiq.com. Okay, mytradingiq.com. But you can go in there and watch me trade if you want to. If you want to see me trade stuff very similar to this, that's where all those numbers are coming from. All right, it's basically trading this right here in the morning session. Trading that. Oops, not that. I gotta put the password back in for it to make sense. It's basically trading, not that. This. Right? We don't have any bar colors. It's basically trading this in the morning. All right, that's where those big numbers are coming from that you see in all the emails. And it's trading this on the ES, the Russell, gold, and the NQ. Okay, and today, the way it worked out today, I was up 58 ticks on the ES, I was up 437 ticks on the NQ, I was up 7 on gold and 26 on the Russell. That was my day today. Okay. Slowly go over the settings for the conservative. What symbol and what range has been my most profitable? Well, Jeff, the symbol that's most profitable is the NQ. Okay, that's an easy answer. And you can go back and look. This spreadsheet goes back over 10 years of my daily results, but you can look over here in the NQ column, and it's always greater than all the other columns. And my ES column is pretty good right now, but my NQ column is always bigger than the rest of them. Right? It's usually the NQ and the ES that I do the best on. You can see, but the NQ provides more opportunity than all the other ones put together. Okay, and up until recently, I was trading the NQ on a 31 range. Okay, Daryl, let me go over those settings for you again. Okay, I'll just get rid of it, right, and put another one on. Conservative. You just put it on. Put on the TV Trades range trigger, and put in your password. You don't have to put the TV Trades on. Just put on the TV Trades range trigger and put in your password. The conservative is going to be on by default. Alright, I set that up to be on by default. But that's all you have to do. You don't have to do anything else. Just put in your password. Okay, Daryl. Is it 5K one time or annual? It's 5K one time. There's a monthly fee if you want it. It's 5K one time to get the training and stuff like that. But yeah, go to mytradingiq.com if you want to, okay? It's not an annual 5K. That would be kind of neat. But no, we didn't do that. Really? The stack trade? You're going all the way back to stack trade, Jeff? Man. Do you remember how old Jake was back then? He's graduated from college now. Stack trade. Nobody's mentioned that to me in a long time. Gosh, that was 2007, 8, something like that. That's a long time ago. Anyway, this is, I can't make it much easier than this, guys. I've done all, I will. I will. I never stop trying. Because I have the ability to create all this, it's a blessing and a curse all at the same time, because I never stop. But, it helps me to make it and then do it in front of you guys, because you guys hold my feet to the fire. And if I say I have rules and then I break a rule, well, then you guys are all over me. And so I have to make rules, follow the rules. And that benefits all of us, I guess. But the things I'm working on is to get rid of these flat spots. That's what I'm trying to do right now. And I got something that's pretty close. It reduces the amount of trades quite a bit, but it's pretty close to get rid of those flat spots. And that is what I'm working on, among other things. Do overbought and oversold lines go to 65 in conservative? No, they do not. They go to 90, I think, in conservative. Okay, I think right now we're in conservative, right? And they're at 90. Right? I didn't change anything else. I just put the password in. I didn't change anything else in here. So they go to 90 in conservative. Okay. The only time they go to 65 is when you have the area on there. You have this area on there. That's when they go to 65. Okay. I'll probably code that in. I'll probably create another version. So when you click on this div area, it automatically puts it down at 65. Okay. And when it's not selected, it'll automatically go back to whatever. If you have conservative checked, it'll go back to 90. And if you don't have conservative checked, it'll go back to 85. It wouldn't be too hard to code all that in. Right, the default is 85. Yep. When you first, if you don't have anything on here, if you go in here and you take the password off again, it goes back to 85. You see. In my other webinar, I said there are 2 lines in the TV trade range section at the bottom of the page. Well, one of those is not part of this, Abe. When I said you'll get 5 days starting, you get 5 business days is what it works out to be. Okay, so yeah, you get 5 days next week, or the rest of this week and next week, or whatever. Get 5 business days. Okay, and you'll see me trading live in the morning. And in the morning when I'm trading live, everything goes really fast. As long as I'm on top of my game, everything goes really fast in the morning. But it's 4 different markets. You know, it's not just one market we're looking at like this. It's, you know, over here I have gold, and then I have the Russell, and then I have the S, and then I have the NQ, and I'm trying to trade them all. So it's a lot of stuff. 927. 927. What time do I start trading was the question. And I'm very specific about the 927 because if you look at this right in here, the number of trades it takes me to get my goal for the day, if I start at 927, a lot of those, you see a lot of ones in there. So I get it on the very first trade. Get my goal for the day on the very first trade a lot of times by starting at 927. Between 927 and 930, then I get that done, and there's no pressure. Okay, the room will be open. The room will be open at around 9:15 though, but I won't be talking until 9:27. So will it be single line for overbought or oversold conditions? What do you mean? Oh, tomorrow morning? No, it'll be 2 lines. You'll have another one down there. It'll look like this. Well, first of all, it will have the cover on it. It'll have the cover on like that. And it will look like I gotta put this back. It'll look like this in the morning. Okay, you won't have any bar color. The snipe won't have any color either, you know. But but that's what it'll look like in the morning. Okay, a lot like that. That's why I'd be buying right here, the open of the next bar. I'd be selling the open of the next bar, selling the open of the next bar, buying the open of the next bar, selling the open of the next bar, selling the open of the next bar, buying the open of the next bar, buying the open of the next bar, selling the open of the next bar, buying, selling. That's how it is in the morning. Okay. Yes. That was only one person, Mike R, who was in the morning session with me all the time, said you really need to focus on this because the stuff in the morning is just a lot of information. It's a lot that's thrown at you. And there's enough information right here for you. You know? So if you learn this, you don't need to learn that. And you have everything available here. But if you just want to see me trade, then you can go there and sign up for the trial and just see me trade. But that's going to be it, guys. I'm going to wrap it up. I've run over 10 minutes. Okay, so I think I've answered all the questions. If you haven't taken a free trial and you want to, go to targetviewtrades.com. That's this one, targetviewtrades.com. Go out here, click on the free trial right here, take the trial there. You can go here to tv-trades.com. You can take the free trial here too. All right, either one, they bring you to the same place. The trial is only $25. I mean, it's free for 3 days, and then it's $25 a week after, if you want, or $90 a month after, if you want, or $97 a year. It's up to you. Getting a lot of these lately. I'm not complaining. It's just the way it's been. But that's it, guys. With that, I really am going to wrap it up. Thank you all for coming to this session, and I will see you all, well, whenever I see you. All right. I'll schedule another one for next week. Now I'm gonna make it the swing trade thing again, swing trade and options again. Hopefully I'll get it done by next week. Okay. And any questions you guys have, you can email support@targetviewtrades.com, support@targetviewtrades.com, or you can text me if you want. My number is 617-943-3298. You can text me at that number. Don't call me because I don't answer the phone. All right. That's it, guys. Thank you all for coming, and we'll see you all next time.